So this is Deadlift Imperial IPA. Yeah, this shit's ass. I'm not gonna lie. It was the cheapest IPA with the most alcohol percentage, 8.6 on the shelf. Okay, don't judge me. I like drinking ass, apparently, especially when it's IPA ass. IPA ass is like it might taste like ass, but ooh, hits that spot. You know what I mean? I actually really love IPA. I've been falling in love with it for a while now, and I like draft IPA. IPA in a can and in a bottle is kind of weird. I still enjoy it, but I'd probably prefer more of like a Modelo and stuff like that, or like a 805, you know. But you know, I'm down with IPAs, and you know, this will do. This is the cheapskate, apparently. So tier list. Okay, so we got a bunch of weapons on here, and I was able to look up on this tier list website, you know, all these guns and stuff like that. It just doesn't have Deagle and the Magnum. That's it. Everything else is updated. And I also have Insurgency in the background. Kind of like scroll around to see just like the points, at least with the weapon. I'm not gonna do it every time, but like if it comes down to it, I will be using it. And yeah, hopefully this video isn't like 30 minutes long, but I'm gonna enjoy myself anyways while doing it. So cheers to that. Let's do this. Okay, real quick, I had to rearrange the list. That way it's in an order, somewhat of an order, and it's not too chaotic. Second thing is, this is obviously a tier list that reflects my own opinion. This doesn't mean an S tier gun is the best gun in the game. It is in my opinion though, obviously. It reflects on that, but the beauty of Sandstorm is that the TTK is so low that you can use any gun, and it's all about preference at the end of the day. That's the beauty of it. Now there are some D tier guns that I won't lie that are just straight up nasty and belong in D tier that you shouldn't use, but that doesn't mean you don't have to use it. You know what I mean? You still have fun with the game. Obviously, we're having fun with the tier list. You can have fun with the game. This is what it's all about. So yeah, with that being said, let's get right into it. So we have the M24 getting started, right? I'm gonna put this as a B tier. It's cheap, it's reliable, it's a bolt action, so it's really satisfying. But the reason why I won't put it higher is because the Mosin has a stripper clip, okay? And that stripper clip really makes or breaks a difference when you're running the right setup. Like, I know you can only use ACOG, and I think there's one other scope. I don't really remember with the Mosin, but like the stripper mag really makes a difference because you have to individually reload all of them with the M24. So that's what's gonna be the difference maker right there. Both really cheap, both really reliable. SVD, S tier. Has really good iron sights. As long as you have the 20 rounder, it doesn't matter what attachment you have. Like, you don't have to have a recoil grip, you don't have to have a muzzle, or you don't have to have a scope on this thing. As long as you have the 20 rounder, this thing will always shred. I always run iron sight SVD or with the scope, you know, suppressor and a grip. It's just nasty with the grip. I mean, come on, man. OP. EBR. I'm gonna put EBR as another S tier. It's really good for 5 points. The full auto, if you know how to control recoil, the full auto is just, will win you any gunfight. I'm telling you right now, you look at my full auto EBR clips, they're nasty. Like, you can't lose with a full auto one-shot gun. You just can't. Now, this is where it kind of gets tricky. The SAS, it's like, for preference, I want to put it as S tier because it has like the best skin in the game. Like the ghillie suit skin, you know, the ghillie skin on the gun, chef's kiss. You know what I mean? Like, it is just so damn good. But we're gonna put it on A tier just because it's 4 points and it costs 2 points to get the 20 rounder mag, making it more expensive than the EBR. And it practically does the same thing as the EBR, but the EBR goes full auto for 1 less point. So we're gonna give the winner to the EBR. I think that's fair. Now, M1 Grand. This is actually gonna be my first D tier gun in the game, only because the reload speed is disgusting. Even when you have the loading attachment, this thing is still garbage. You get 8 shots. You know, it's cool. It's a cool gun to use. I'm not gonna lie. It's like really cool. I love the iron sights too, but it's a D tier in my book, man. I just can't see myself, you know, using it efficiently like that. So we go on with the 50 cals. I think I'm gonna put both 50 cals in the B tier list just because the wall bang potential is just nasty. You're always gonna get a one shot no matter what, and the wall banging in this game with the 50 cals is just unmatched. It's really satisfying. So that's it with the snipers. As you can tell, most of the snipers are pretty high up there in the ranks, not gonna lie. So we have our PKM. That's an automatic S tier. So the PKM, what makes the difference between the insurgents and the security is that insurgents have really good LMGs. I mean, this is your starting LMG that you don't need any attachments for. Like, look, where's the PKM at? It's a starting gun for 3 points, right? It's a one-shot kill gun. And you can't throw like recoil grips or anything on it. I mean, you can throw like a muzzle brake, which is good, but it's so cheap that at the end of all my points for the machine gunner, I could have like an ACOG, a muzzle brake, and I could still afford like heavy armor with the light carrier. Like, it's just so cheap and reliable. It's definitely the S tier. It's the best LMG in the game, no doubt about it. If you can control recoil, it's God tier. It's legit God tier. Now, its counterparty, the Bravo, also a one shot, basically does the same thing the PKM does, but it's expensive as hell, especially because the extended mag is like what, like 4 points or something like that. I don't even remember. Let me see. M240 Bravo, 3 points for an extended mag. Ridiculous, man. That is just absolutely ridiculous. And with that being said, they both have hard to control recoil. Believe it or not, because it's 3 points, I kind of want to put it in the C tier, because it's like nobody ever uses this thing, as a shit ton of kick to it, and being the God tier thing and having it's just way too expensive. It's just way too expensive at the end of the day, man. I don't know. Maybe it should be B tier because, you know, it's like the same thing as a PKM. It's God tier, but like I said, it's just not worth it at the end of the day with how many points it costs. MG3. This is probably an A tier. I love the firing rate on it. It's a beauty. It's fun as hell to use. It's one of the best guns in the game. In terms of just having a shit ton of fun and fully blasting that thing. And an MG3 with the suppressor, like what? That's like every like weapon nerd's dream. So yeah, we're gonna keep it at A tier. Now the saw, I think we're gonna put it on B tier. Now it's cheap. It's the cheapest one, and it automatically comes with a 200 round mag, which is really nice. But it shoots 5.56. And it's not one tap potential like the MG3, PKM, or even the M240 Bravo. I'm only putting it above the M240 Bravo because it's less expensive. It's, you know, efficiently cheaper. And the 200 round mag, I mean, you can just let it rip without even having to worry about reloading. So I think we're gonna stick with that. Now we come to LMGs, or at least the breacher class, because I guess I don't know if you can count the Honey Badger as that. So with the Honey Badger, how many points is the Honey Badger? 5 points, eh? I like the Honey Badger. It's very silent. It's even fun without the silencer. Definitely gonna put it as a B tier. I think I'm sticking with that. Uzi. I don't know. C tier or D tier? My heart wants to give it a D tier. But honestly, I feel like that's doing it injustice. Because it's not that terrible at the end of the day. I just have a lot of hate for it. It's cheap. It's Mr. Reliable. Sure, I guess you can kind of say that. I wouldn't rely on it for shit. Going in C tier only because it got saved by the Sterling. Sterling, definitely a D tier. It's cool that it has a 50 rounder or whatever, the extended mag, or is it a 40 rounder? I don't fucking remember. But the thing is, this thing is hot garbo, has a shit ton of recoil, and is just takes way too many shots for how slow a rate of fire is. Uzi makes this gun look like I don't know how to describe it. The Uzi looks like a fucking diamond compared to this garbage ass Sterling. The Sterling is by far the worst SMG in the game. Can't even deny it. Grace gun, fun to use, very low. Oh, very low rate of fire. I actually don't know. I should put it on D tier or if I should put it on C tier. It's also kind of like, I would argue that the Uzi, I don't know, I feel like the grease gun has a little bit better of range compared to these two. And I mean, the advanced suppressor is kind of cool. So I think we're going to put it on C tier. I believe the advanced suppressor also makes it really silent, kind of like how the Honey Badger is. So I think that's the only way I'm putting it as C tier. I think I'm going to stick with it. Although, I think it's the laser sight that's in the back of the gun. It looks fucking wacky as shit. And I would never let my gun look that ugly, but... Okay, sorry, I had to go to the bathroom and also I grabbed another cold one. I'm not a pussy. It's just kind of warm. Okay, maybe I am a pussy. Fuck, I can't open this shit. Hold on. I don't have nails. Okay? Don't fucking judge me, please. God damn. Cold one hits. Okay. So, continuing this list. AS Val. Oh, I'm actually kind of stuck here. I want to put the AS Val as a B tier. Fuck. But if I put AS Val as an A, I kind of want to put it as an A tier. But if I put the AS Val as an A tier, I'd have to put the Honey Badger as the A tier as well, because they're practically almost like the same thing. And the beauty about these two is that you can hit the flank and it is super silent. These guns are by far has the most suppressive sound in the game. It's really, really good for flanking, and I think I just convinced myself to put both of these as an A tier guns solely because of that. The reason why I was hesitant to put it in the A tier is because it has really shitty medium to long range fire, especially the bullet drop off is insane on both of these guns. It's like disgusting on how bad the bullet drop off hits, and the velocity as well. But the thing is, I think when suppressed, it's just so silent while I'm hitting the flank. For me personally, as a flanker, I think they belong in A tier. So I think we're gonna stick with that. Yeah. Now with SMGs, what's missing here? There is something missing. Oh no, I already did the other. Oh, sorry, I'm drinking. Okay, so MP5. It's a tough one. I don't have too many S tiers, but this MP5 is just a banger. Honestly, it has, believe it or not, I feel like the MP5 has better medium range than what these two give and offer. Like, I can smack with the MP5 full auto very controllable recoil. Yes, I just talked myself into S tier. That's happening. This other MP5, A tier. Or B tier. I don't know. I don't like this MP5 just because of the way it looks. Even with the suppressor, I know people think it's cool. It just, I don't know. It doesn't do it justice for me. And I never use it. I only ever use the MP5 when I'm playing Insurgents. Never while I'm using the security. Because when I'm using security, I use the MP7. A tier. That is, okay, so like, I know what you're thinking right now. Just, it makes sense because like on Insurgents, you don't have as much as SMGs as you do with security. And the MP7 just beats out the MP5 every time. Now, the reason why the MP7 isn't an S tier, it used to be an S tier back in the day. Back in the day, it used to be S tier. But they kind of nerfed it ever since the beginning of Sandstorm. And now it's kind of like a bleh. Like, it's really fun to use. You know, it's the MP freaking 7. But the cost of the MP7 is pretty pricey. And I think that's what's going to keep it as an A tier. In my opinion, that's what's preventing the S tiers. That the extended mag price, way too much in my opinion. All right, so we're kind of getting into rifles now. The AUG. I will put the AUG as a B tier. It's cheap, all reliable, looks dope, transparent mags. That's a winner in my books, okay? You know, transparent mags, how could you go wrong? Plus, it really looks badass with like an 8x scope on it. Or 7x, I forgot which game we're playing. AK-74. Probably an A tier. Only because its firing rate's really good. It has really good firing rate. Now, it doesn't hit as hard as like a 7.62, but the recoil isn't also as bad as a 7.62, and that rate of fire really makes a difference. You know, it makes or breaks it, not gonna lie. Ace 52. I'm putting it as a C tier. I never use the Ace 52. This might sound shocking to some people. I just don't like it. I don't know what it is. It has a lot of recoil. I know it hits hard, but it just doesn't feel the same as like a Scar H would. You know what I mean? It just doesn't feel right. G36, B tier. Just because it's cheap and it has transparent mags, that I'm going to stick with B tier on this one. I don't think you can change my mind either. I mean, alien gun looks badass as hell. The only reason why it's not an A tier, because I will admit it feels a little weak. It feels weak at times. It does. I feel like it doesn't hit as hard as the other rifles. Maybe I sound batshit crazy, I don't know. Alpha AK, C tier. I never use this thing, man. As an advisor class weapon, it just doesn't make sense to use it. Like, you would think that since it's an advisor class, that it would have like less recoil as other ARs. But I'm telling you, because it's strictly on the advisor class, it just doesn't make any sense on why you should use it. Like, the advisor class for security is so better than what insurgent advisor class is. It doesn't even compare. I'm definitely probably going to keep it as a C tier. FAL. This used to definitely be an S tier. This used to be meta back in the day. Totally meta. And then they took away the 30 round mag. 30 round mag, S tier. Now, it's an A tier in my book. Just because it doesn't have the 30 rounder. Still has full auto. It's amazing. I love it. It actually, believe it or not, back in the day, it used to be an advisor class. It used to be a part of the advisor. You used to be able to put a suppressor on it with a 30 round mag, and the iron sights are pretty decent. Dude, this thing used to shred back in the day. This was definitely an S tier back in the day. It used to be the best gun in the game, I think, actually, just because it's a one tap potential with full auto. Like, what? And you can also control the recoil. Definitely used to be an S tier. now it's just an A tier now that it doesn't have the 30 round mag. They've definitely done their part to nerf it and not make it meta. And I mean, I'm not going to blame them. It makes sense. Scar H, A tier. It's cheap. It's reliable. Actually, you know what? How much is the Scar? I believe this should be an S tier. Simply because it's so good, but it's also so cheap. It's one of those, like, you can't knock on it. So let's see. The Tavore is 5. I definitely missed where the Scar H is. Where are you? 3 points. You also have to throw an extended mag on it, though. Ooh, this is rough. This is definitely rough. We'll come back to it. We're definitely going to take like a second look at this list and kind of rearrange it on how I please. But I think I'm going to keep the Scar H as an A tier for now. For now. L85. It's going to go in the C tier, man. I'm not going to lie. It's an advisor class weapon. It's cool looking, and that's all that's going for it. Really, there's all of these amazing weapons on advisor, and you choose the L85. Like, you got to be joking. G36 can do what the L85 can do, just better, simply better, without wasting an advisor loadout. Like, you're literally only getting the L85 at this point for the looks of it. That is simply it. That is the only time I ever use the L85. It's because it looks cool. But there's a lot of recoil. It's still 5.56, so it doesn't hit hard. Sticking with the C tier, man. Sticking with the C tier. SKS. We're going with another D tier. Now, I could probably argue, everybody could probably argue that it is at least a C tier weapon. And that makes sense in my book. That does make sense. It's very satisfying when you do get kills. But the fact that it's a 2-shot semi, and you have to also put extended mag on it, it's going in the D tier in my list. I don't know. Might come back to that. But, I mean, man, there's just so many other rifles out there you can be using. And the SKS is just not one of them, just because it's always a 2-tap rifle. It is rarely ever a 1-tap. And that's because the guy has to be wounded already. So, yeah. And in CQB, you're fucked with this gun. It's just the way the cookie crumbles, guys. M4, S tier. This thing is expensive, but I'm telling you right now, recoil, I can control the fuck out of this gun. I can make it look like a laser. I literally have a video saying that this gun is a laser. Literally. This gun is like the best freaking gun on security. No doubt about it. This gun is so damn good. My favorite gun in the game, by far. G3. Now, let me see. Where did I put the FAL? Was A tier? I'm going to put it... Actually, no. I'm going to put it as a C tier. So, my reasoning for this, because back in the day when I said FAL was meta, G3 was also meta. Now, G3 has a lot less slower firing rate than the FAL. You'd think that they're kind of like practically the same, right? Like, same type of gun, not the same firing rate. Well, back in the day, when this also had a 30 rounder, this had slower rate of fire, right? And it also had light armor stop it from being a 1-shot. So it would make it a 2-shot with just light armor, even at close range. That's why it's a C tier, not a B tier. Because whenever you throw light armor on, the G3 becomes useless. It takes a 2-shot kill. I wouldn't say useless, because that would be probably a D tier listing. But it takes a 2-shot kill whenever you're rocking light armor against the G3. So if there is some guy out there rocking the G3, and he is going off on the other team, throw on light armor. I promise you that light armor will save your life so many times, because he won't be able to get the 1-shot. The FAL, on the other hand, even though it had the nerf and it still has a 20 rounder, it is still a 1-shot up close. still, even though it has faster firing rate than G3, doesn't make any sense, right? And then think of like balancing. But I mean, I guess it makes more sense if you think of a bigger picture on how many guns security has versus insurgents. It'll be kind of fun to kind of count how many security weapons there is in like top tiers versus like insurgents. I guess we'll come back to that. Okay, AK-74U. This gun used to be ass back in the day, but they nerfed, or then they buffed the firing rate, and then it started competing with the MK18. I'll put it as a B tier for now. Fun to use. I love it. Firing rate's really fun. It is still a little weak though, which is why it will stay at the B tier. I do like the points surrounded by it, but it's just a B tier in my listing just because of how weak it is. M16. I believe this is the security M16. Security M16, I'm telling you guys right now, it's an S tier. This is one of the best guns in the game because it is so cheap, and also if you have an aim like Shroud, it just takes one burst. That's all it does. Like the amount of times I get one shot kills, one burst kills with this gun, it's beautiful at the end of the day. Iron sights are really good on this one too. Now we're gonna actually skip all the way to the second M16 just because of a point I want to make. I'll probably put this as either A tier. I want to put it as B tier, but I'll put it as A tier because you can still put an ACOG, you can still put a 3x scope. The iron sights are garbage on this. That is the only reason why it's not an S tier. It does practically the same thing as this M16, but this one just has the worst iron sights in the game that is just useless. It's literally useless with iron sights. You shouldn't be using iron sights with it. You should at least have the 3x scope. That's why I'm going to put it as the A tier. But the M16 on security, you can never go wrong as long as you have good aim. It's just, it's literally unmatched. Galil. We're going to put it as a C tier. I kind of want, it's something inside me wants to put it as a D tier. But effectively, it shouldn't be a D tier weapon. It's a lot better than a D tier weapon. I'll keep D tier as more of like the worst guns in the game. The Galil, both Galils. Where's the other Galil at? Where's the other Galil at? There it is. Thought it wasn't there for a second. I'll put both Galils as C tiers simply because they're cool. When you throw a jump mag, they're also cool to use. It's fun to use, but it has a shit ton of recoil when you throw a jump mag on it. It's literally insane, and that's the only reason why you want to use the Galils in the first place, because it's like an AR with a jump mag, but it just adds extra recoil. And there's literally, I kid you not, every AR on this list will beat out the Galil. I don't think there's any AR out there that would not beat the Galil in a firefight, and just adding a jump mag just makes it so much more worse. So yeah, the Galil, it's cool that it has a bipod, I guess, but at the end of the day, it's just a C tier weapon. It's just something you want to fuck around with on multiplayer whenever you feel like rocking a jump mag. AKM, that's definitely an S tier. I'm always preaching that the M4 and the AKM are the two best guns in the game. You cannot tell me otherwise. AKM is stupid cheap, and it packs a punch because it's 7.62, right? It eats through people like butter, and it has pretty controllable recoil. It does have a kick. It has a little bit of a kick to it, but it's actually not that hard to control it. I feel like the first shot recoil on the gun might be the worst problem of the gun, but its point system makes up for it, and once you keep firing and holding on to the trigger, you can easily control the recoil after. It's insane how good this gun is for how cheap it is. It is my go-to. It's my baby. It's my cream to my Oreo. Okay? I cream to this gun. Okay, I need a drink after saying some shit like that. Thank you for sticking with me through that moment. Okay, Tavore. I'm not really a fan of the Tavore, but I won't put it on C tier. I'll put it on B tier. Has a shit ton of recoil. It's literally, I kid you not, guys. It's the same thing that the Scar H does. It's just the Scar H does so much better than Tavore, simply because it's way cheaper. That's at the end of the day. Tavore looks cool. That's why it's staying as a B tier and it's not a C tier, because I find myself using the Tavore because of looks more than you think compared to like the Ace 52. But I'm telling you, man, I mean, it's hard hitting. It's a good gun. You know what? I said I'd come back to the Scar H. Scar H is S tier. I will put the Tavore as A tier. It doesn't deserve B tier now that I think about it. The Scar H, because of how cheap it is, it's just, I think it does make it S tier. While A tier, the Tavore is still really good. It has really good looks, but it's really expensive. It does exactly what the Scar H does. It's just has, I think, a slightly less recoil and a slightly more firing rate. That could be the eye test. I don't fucking know. I don't have the exact stats in front of me. We're gonna stick with it, okay? MK18. We're going with, actually, I don't know if I want to put it as a B tier or an A tier. I think I'm gonna go with an A tier. This thing's a laser. Now, this thing used to actually, yeah, I'm sticking with the A tier. The reason why is because this thing used to control the meta back in the day as well. Like, whenever the FAL had meta, MK18 also used to be meta. You can shoot this at medium range. This is actually considerably better than the AS FAL and the Honey Badger. Like, it is just so good. It used to be a breacher gun, believe it or not, back in the day, before it became an advisor. Yeah, man. Like, this thing has medium range. It's by far the easiest gun to control in the game. I said that used to be I said earlier that was like kind of like the M4 version. This is like a weaker M4, but it's more accurate than the M4. That's the best way to put it, I'd probably say. Looks badass too. You can put a suppressor in a freaking hollow sight or like a 2x sight. It's gonna look cool as fuck. And then you have like the tan mag too. Like, come on, man. It just looks so cool. Definitely an A tier gun. Definitely talk myself into that one. VHS, also an A tier. Fast firing rate, I love it. Little weak. That's why it is not an S tier, because I feel like it is a little weak. It feels a little weak, kind of like how the MK18 is. But the thing is with the VHS is that it's way more expensive than the MK18. And that's where I'm gonna draw my lines in the sand. That makes sense, right? Okay. FAMAS. Fuck. I don't know where to put this one. I think I'm gonna stick with the B tier. It is really expensive. Oh shit. Actually, I don't know. Part of me wants to put it on an A tier list because of the firing rate is so freaking fast. As an AR, you can win any 1v1. 1v1, you're gonna win with the FAMAS unless he has one of the one-shot kill guns, right? You will win with the FAMAS. The thing is with the FAMAS, the moment you win the 1v1, you have to reload. If you're using full auto, you have to reload. There's no way you can get the second guy off without needing to reload unless you're that accurate. I mean, I've done it. Obviously, I've done it. Excuse me. But it's just like, after the first gunfight, you already use half your mag. Like, streaking with the FAMAS is hard as shit, man. I can win any gunfight with the FAMAS 1v1. Like, FAMAS is probably really good for competitive when it's just like one life situations, like in firefight. it is probably a top tier gun. But the moment you go 1v2 or 1v3, or you try to like take out more than one guy, it is really going against you. It is probably the best AR in the game, I'd argue, if it wasn't for its mag size. And the mag size is what kills you, and also the cost points is what kills you. And it's just, I don't know if that's a good, worthy trade-off to be. Like, a part of me wants to put it in A tier. A part of me does. But a part of me says that, like, everything else is going against it. I'm gonna have to keep it as a B tier, man. As a flanker, as a push player, I'm gonna keep it as a B tier. If you're a firefight player, A tier. I'll put it as an A tier as a firefight player. I'll give you that. Is that fair? I think that's fair. QBZ. Oh, this one's also another hard one. Put it as B tier. Where's the QBZ at? No, wrong QBZ. Okay, so it's not up here. Isn't it even called the QBZ? Did I get the? I think I got the name wrong. Oops. Oh, it's QBZ. Yeah, I was right. It's 4 points. And it also has a Type 3 scope. I'm kind of stuck on this one. It could be an A tier. I think I'm going to keep it as a B tier because I don't use it that much. Its type scope is really good. The, look. Type 03 scope for 2 points. It's a 3x scope. Probably my favorite scope in the game. Actually, that's a lie. G36 scope is probably my favorite in the game. But the QBZ has a really good scope. Not gonna lie. I think I'm gonna keep it as B tier. It's a really good, solid gun, but it just doesn't have anything eye-popping or special about it to be put in the A or S tier listing. And it's not cheap at all. So I think I'm definitely gonna stick with B tier. QTS, 4 points as well, has an interior grenade launcher. Let me tell you, when I first played that with the grenade launcher, I was like, where the fuck's the grenade launcher? I thought it was bugged. I shit you not, I thought it was bugged. It's interior. That is an A tier listing for me. Simply because of that interior grenade launcher. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably a B tier. Actually, you know what? No. It hits pretty hard. It hits pretty hard. I think we could all argue it hits pretty hard. It looks advanced. The only thing bad I really don't like about the rifle is that it looks really, really crappy in third person. If you're looking at third person, it's like, dude, the gun is like the size. It's bigger than you. It's by far bigger than you. I'm not even kidding. It looks so wacky in third person. It's probably why I don't know how to describe it. It looks out of place. It really does look out of place. But first person, it looks really badass. Oh, you know what? Here's another confidence booster. It has a 4-to-1 time scope as 1 point. 1 point or 4-to-1. 4-to-1. And it looks advanced. It looks sick as shit. This is definitely an A tier. That convinced me. It definitely belongs in A tier because of that scope. I was kind of debating between B tier. I was like, grenade launcher only for being A tier. No, that scope makes it A tier. That's what it makes it A tier. I'm telling you right now. Shotguns. Shotguns back in the day used to be S tier. They used to be snipers. You know Rainbow Six Siege, where, remember like Frost in season 1, whenever Frost came out, she used to have like a sniper shotgun. That's what these shotguns were back in the day. They used to be snipers. They're realistic shotguns, practically, literally. Like, this is what realism looks like, is this game. shotguns, but they were so realistic and so OP that they had to nerf it for the game's sakes. That's why they're A tiers now. I think I'm gonna stick with A tiers. You could probably argue that they're B tiers because, you know, they don't have the range like they used to. They still have good range. They're still one shot from a pretty good range. I think I'm gonna stick with A tiers on that because they're still cheap. They're really cheap. Yeah, they're really cheap. Yeah, you know what? Fuck you guys. Yeah, I said it. Fuck you guys. A tier it is. I would probably never use any sight whatsoever. Ooh, okay. They actually used to have 4x sights. Actually, not the insurgent one. The security one used to have a 4x sight on it. Slugs and 4x, it was never good, but it was fun as hell to use. And then they removed 4x from the breacher class. I understand why they did it. I really do. I do understand why they did it. But slugs and 4x on a shotgun was just, it was like a battlefield moment. It just felt really, really fun to use. And I'm staying on that hill. And devs, if you're listening to me, just bring back the 4x on just the shotguns, please. For me, I do so much for you guys. Please, I just want to have fun again. Okay, there's not much to look forward to in life besides the 4x on a shotgun. You know what I mean? This actually might be the only C tier rifle in the game. That's in rifleman, I'd probably say. The type 99, right? I think I'm saying that right. Fuck, I definitely scrolled past it. I always do this. Okay, I can't find it. Type 100. It's type 100, right? Oh, fuck, I don't fucking know. Very cheap gun. It is cheap. It has the same type of scope. It has its own unique scope as the Alpha AK. It just doesn't hit right. It really doesn't hit right. I'm telling you right now. I don't know, man. It just doesn't fit right in my bucks. Has a lot of recoil for how slow the firing rate is. It's definitely C tier. I don't suggest it. Now that I'm talking about it, like, it's probably the worst rifle in the game. I'd probably argue that it's a D tier automatic rifle. I'd say. Like, it's worse than the L85. It's worse than the Galil. It's worse than the Alpha AK. I could probably argue this is the worst. You know what? For the video's sakes, it makes sense. It's definitely the worst AR in the game. I'll put it D tier. Put it D tier just because I know it belongs in C tier, but I know in my head that since it is the worst assault rifle in the game, that it does belong in D tier. Sake of variety, I guess you can say. So our last thing is pistols. You already know, Well Rod definitely deserves D tier. There's no arguing that. It's a meme gun. But it's fun as hell to use, especially with their Well Rod only playlist. By the way, devs, bring it back, man. That was really fun. I had some. I have my only Well Rod video was because of the playlist. I make loadout videos for this game, and if it wasn't for that Well Rod playlist, I wouldn't be here tearing the Well Rod. You know what I mean? Like. Only chance I ever got as a good player to wreck people with a Well Rod was that playlist. It was actually fun. I'm not gonna lie. Bolt action pistol, smart. I love it. It's fun. It is fun. Don't knock on this game because of a fucking Well Rod. It is fun as hell to use and is meant to just have fun. Thank you, Des, for bringing that. I really do appreciate it. As a pistol, so you have to realize as a pistol, I'm tiering it as a pistol, not just because like every pistol would probably be D tier to C tier if it was compared to every gun, because it's a sidearm though. I will put this as a C tier. I like the extended mag, don't get me wrong. It has really good extended mag potential. It's still kind of weak. It's not the best gun in the game. Or not the best pistol in the game, I should say. This is a free pistol, I believe, right? Hold up. Hold up. Is it? No, it's not. It's 1 point. Tariq is a 1-pointer. Okay. So oh shit. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So back to that. That's D tier. We're putting that as a D tier. Okay. Just because it costs 1 point. There's no fucking point in using this damn gun. Literally, no fucking point. This is definitely a B tier. John Wick gun. It's the John Wick gun. Fun as hell to use. You know what? I'll put it as an A tier pistol. Compared to the other pistols, it's good. It's a solid pistol to use. You don't even need extended mag. Still has 15 bullets without the extended mag. I'd say with the recoil it has, it's a good sidearm to use. M911, C tier. Other M911, also C tier. It pains me to do this. I want to put it as a B tier. I really do. You guys have no idea how much I want to put these guns on B tier. But the thing is, they're just so butt. A 45 caliber being that butt in the game, even though it looks so badass while using it. I played Hitman as a loadout for so long, and it was such a struggle using this as a sidearm to get streaks with because of its low mag capacity. The 45, yes, it does more damage than the 9mm, but it doesn't equivalent to how much ammo is in the mag, because it's practically, when you come up with damage with the 9mm and the 45mm, it practically does the same amount of shots. It's not the same damage, but it at the end of the day, it ends up being about the same amount of shots, and you might as well use the 9mm when using these. They look cool as hell, guys. Honestly, they really do. But it just doesn't equivalent to what a 9mm brings. Because the fucking M9, baby. Oof. Damn. Shit looks so sexy. Low-key belongs to an S tier. But the only S tier gun that belongs on here that's a pistol is the fucking Glock. Because of that extended mag, 33 rounder. Actually, I think it's a 32 rounder, but you also get a 33 because of the one in the chamber. Ooh. Makes me wanna all over the fucking screen. This has really good recoil. By far the best pistol in the game. Shit you not, always felt like that. Like, you look at my clips with the Glock. My Glock clips are just as good as any AR clips, because it is such a good fucking pistol because of how much ammo it can carry. And it's still cheap enough that you can rock the fucking extended mag with it. I'm not even kidding. If you have extended mag with this gun, it's like unstoppable. Like, fuck, it's definitely the best pistol in the game. I shit you not. I will probably put the Magroff on B tier. I want to put it as a C tier because these three guns are way better than the Magroff, but at the end of the day, Magroff is 0 points. Like, I don't ever use the Magroff, even though I have the points for it because of 0 points. Because you always need 1 point for the holster. You know? Quick draw holster. Perfect in this game. So you kind of need always one gun. But this gun is like so ass. But because it's 0 points, because it helps a lot with using a normal sniper like an SVD or a bolt action, you have enough points to rock this because you only need 1 extra point for the quick draw holster. Magroff definitely becomes a B tier only because of 0 points. It is so dirt cheap that it becomes a B tier. Think about that for a second. The point system makes it a B tier alone because it's free. Only free gun in the game. Now there is a Deagle and there's a Magnum. Deagle, I will put it as an A tier. Magnum, I will put it as a B tier. I think I'm sticking with that. I don't have a picture for it, but the Magnum, 6 shots, pretty cool. Also has a scope for it. Really badass. But the Deagle is semi-automatic. Shoots faster than what a Magnum does. And it does so well in this game. Literally, the fact that it's a one-shot, even at like medium range, could low-key be an S tier. Not gonna lie. Deagle could arguably be an S tier. But because it's so expensive and you don't want to rock a Deagle as your main primary weapon unless you're Shroud, I will put it as an A tier. If you're Shroud, it's an S tier. If you're me, it's an S tier. If for the common folk, A tier. I'll put it as an A tier. I'll keep it as an A tier. Okay, so we're gonna go through this list real quick. Just give me a sec. I'm actually pretty happy how this listing turned out. But I'm gonna put the FAMAS in A tier. I'm putting the FAMAS in A tier simply because what I said earlier, it's practically the best gun in the game, but it's so expensive. And if you run into more than one guy, you're ruined. So that's why I'm putting it as an A tier. I'm gonna commit to myself as an A tier weapon. It's better than you think, even if you have to put the attachments on it. I'm committing to that. P5, AUG, G3, QBZ. Yeah, I mean, God, this looks good. This is a good list. These are all definitely D tier lists. Pistol tray. But not only pistols, any gun. I like this. I like how this turned out. I had fun doing this. Was I drunk because I had fun? Yes. Does that make a difference? Probably. But you know what? I still made this fucking video and I still had fun doing it. And hopefully you get something from this video. And if you didn't, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Go watch another fucking video and then come up with something that you learn from other fucking video. Fuck off, okay? I'm drinking. I'm feeling myself. Have a good night. Maybe a tier list for maps in the future. I don't fucking know. See you later, okay, guys? Don't drink cheap IPA. Treat yourself to some better IPA. Or else you'll forever hate me. And you'll forever think that IPA is a bad drink. But I promise you, it's so good. It tastes like ass, but it's so good. You have draft.